Recorded Books and One Click Digital present Redemption by B.J. Daniels, narrated by Graham Winton.
Chapter 1. Jack didn't want any trouble. He couldn't afford any. That was why he decided to keep walking right past the Range Rider bar and the blaring Western music through the darkness that shrouded the long-ago abandoned buildings of his hometown. A sliver of moon hung over the top of the mountains, among a plethora of stars in a midnight sky bigger than any he swore he'd ever seen. He could smell the spring in the pines and on the snow-fed water as the creek rushed past town. When he was a boy, he used to imagine what Beartooth, Montana, had been like in the late 1800s. A gold rush boom town at the feet of the crazy mountains. Back then there'd been hotels and boarding houses, a half-dozen saloons, livery stables, assaying offices, and several general stores. Once the gold played out, the town died down to what it was today. One bar, a general store, a cafe, a church, and a post office. Many of the original buildings still stood, though, ghostly remains of what once had been. As isolated as the town was, Beartooth had survived when many Montana gold rush towns had completely disappeared. Towns died off the same way families did, he thought, mindful of his own. His roots ran deep here in the shadow of the Crazies, as the locals called the wild, magnificent mountain range. Over the years, two stories took hold about how the Crazy Mountains got their name. Native Americans believed anyone who went into the frightening, fierce winds that blew out of the inhospitable, rugged peaks was crazy. Another story was about a frontier woman who had wandered into the mountains. By the time she was found, the story went she'd gone crazy. Jack believed being this close to all that wildness could make anyone crazy. His great-grandfather used to tell stories about gunfights and bar brawls on this very street. Of course, his great-grandfather had been right in the middle of it. Blame the mountains or genetics. This was his family legacy. Trouble was in his genes, as if branded to his DNA. But hadn't he proven tonight that he could change? He'd been tempted to stop in for just one beer at the Range Rider. Why not, since it was his first night back in town? But a 2-year stint at Deer Lodge, Montana State Prison for wrestling a prized bull had made him see that it was time to break some of those old family traditions. Didn't matter that he hadn't taken the bull. He'd been living as wild and crazy as the wilderness around Beartooth, and it had caught up with him. He'd just made it easy for whoever had framed him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?